Thanks for watching this tutorial on the payments reports in Practice Web. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to use the filters and criteria in the payments report, create the payments report by payment type, by provider, or by clinic, use the group by check and group by patients options, and apply the Include Unearned checkbox. To begin, we will go into Practice Web, and all of our reports are under our Reports menu at the top of your screen. To access the payments report, click on the Reports menu and select Standard. Our payments report is in our Daily section. It's the second one down, labeled as Payments. When we select that, we are going to have a variety of options. Your payments report can be run by a single day by highlighting that day in both calendars boxes, or you can run the payment reports for a series of days by selecting different dates in your calendar boxes. For purposes of our tutorial, we will run our report for just today. We have the ability to run the report for all of the providers or a single provider if you wanted to run the report for a single provider. You would simply come into your provider's checkbox right here, and you would select the provider you wanted to run the report for. I will select SAM Public, and we will click OK. This will show me all of the payments that were posted to provider SAM Public for today. If we close out of this report, we can then go back to our payments report and select additional options. If I was an office that had a variety of clinics and wanted to see all the payments that were posted in my individual clinic for the day, I could select my clinic from our clinics list right here on the right-handed side of our screen. So if I click Clinic 1 and click OK, this is going to show me only the payments that were applied to Clinic 1 ended today. If we close back out of that, we can then go back into our payments report. We have the ability to run our report and only look at certain payment types. Right now, my report is set to run all insurance payment types, all patient payment types, and all claim payment groups. Claim payment groups and will allow you to break down your claim payments by individual user. If we uncheck any one of these boxes, we can then select the individual insurance payment type that we would like to see, or uncheck it and we could select individual patient payment types. If you only wanted to see your patient payment types, you could uncheck all your insurance payment types. Then it will only show you your patient payment types and vice versa. We also have the option to group by patient or group by check. The difference between these affects insurance payments only. If you group a paycheck, it is going to add all of the patients up into one check if you post it by patient. You're going to see the individual payments for each one of those patients, and we're going to run that report for you right now, both ways. You're going to notice as I run this group for by check and click OK, I'm going to zoom in and make it a little easier to see. So right now we have a total of $2,044, and we have checks for Kate Smith, Jane Doe, and Bill Rogers. This is the group by check option. If I close this report and I run this report again, and this time run it by patient and click OK, you're going to notice that we have the same deposit amount of $2,044, but this one we have Kate Smith John Smith, Jane Doe, and Bill Rogers. Kate and John were part of the same check, so the report when we ran it by check show us one patient on that report. When we run it by patient, it breaks out individual patients for us. There's one more option to discuss, and that is going to affect this line for Kevin Patel right here on this $205 payment. If we close this report and go back into our options, this involves the Include Unearned. Include Unearned is a prepayment. If you use the prepayment option when posting a patient payment, that money isn't earned yet, hasn't been applied to any provider, so if you're running the report at the end of the day, you want to see all the payments received. You're going to leave that check mark checked. However, if you're running a report for an individual clinic, if you're running a reports for individual provider, you want to uncheck that box or that $205 payment will show up everywhere. We're going to take a look at that now. If I leave that checked and run it for all providers, all clinics, we could see that payment right here. So if I leave that checked and run the payments report for provider Sam Public, that payment is going to show up on this report. Because it hasn't been assigned to your provider, it shows up on everyone's provider's report. I'm going to close out of this. If I run the same report for Sam Public and unselect the Include Unearned, that payment will no longer show up for Sam Public, and Sam Public isn't getting credit for it. So the important thing to remember is that with any prepayment, at the end of the day, when you're running your payments report to balance out, you want to include unearned. However, if you're running a payments report by provider, because you pay providers off of collections, then you want to make sure you uncheck that. So they are not getting credit for the money that they technically haven't collected or completed the treatment on yet. This completes our overview of how to use the payments report in Practice Web. If you have any questions about something that was not covered in this tutorial, please call support at 800-845-9379, option 2, or email us at support@practice-web.com.